Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Brian from GEMINI Syndrome. How you doing?
Great to be here. Thanks, man.
Yeah, great to see you, man. So much fun stuff to unpack and talk about. The band certainly didn't go anywhere, but it's kind of like new music always brings new attention, and new tour dates get people excited. But before we unpack all that stuff, I just want to make sure it's been a ridiculous year and a half in the world. And just hopefully you're well, your family, the band, their families, everybody's cool, because, you know, it's been tough for a lot of people.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, it's been, nothing like this has ever happened. So I think it's brought a lot of people closer and made us appreciate things. And but now that things are kind of getting back to normalish, then now we get to kind of go out and do the things that we didn't get to do, that we were kind of complaining about and having anxiety not being able to do. And now I gotta go do them, like shows. And
right. Yes. Are you feeling like and you have tour dates literally coming up like this month? So are you feeling like ready to get out in front of people, and you feel like you feel safe enough?
Oh yeah, I mean the safety's fine. I mean we leave in 3 days to start. We start in Salt Lake and head over to Colorado, and it's yeah, we're pumped. We're ready to do it. You know, definitely kind of feel like an old engine, like an old El Camino that's been in the front of the yard, and there's hamsters in the tailpipe, and we got to like clean off the seats and get in there and drive.
There it is. You got to like give it a test run before you get out there. And have you guys been rehearsing and everything? Is that what's going on now?
Yeah, we've been rehearsing all month. We're practicing a bunch of new material. We got a whole new stage design, and we're excited to kind of go out there and just do all this new stuff.
Amazing. And you got to, like I said, I feel like we're going to all be like Vikings jumping off the ships on the shores just to go see our friends, just to go to the bar, just to go to the small club. Rock music is intimate by nature. You can't, maybe it's cool. I like the live streams, and I like some of those things too, but like really this music is meant to be in person.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, everyone was kind of scrambling when all this stuff happened and trying to figure out how to operate in this new paradigm. And the live streams is, a logical, kind of next step of what to do. But I think nothing's going to ever beat a live show. So
I hope that's the case. I know there was kind of a culture in the past where maybe people were like, well, I don't understand who like filmed a whole show on their phone and doesn't watch the show and doesn't experience the show. I'm a journalist. I will film like a part of a song and put it on Instagram because I was there, and that like, oh, here we are here we are there. That's where we're leaving kind of a breadcrumb trail for fans. But like, I never understood somebody that watches the whole show, even if you were like the most technical guitar person and you wanted to go home and learn stuff. Are you really like, you're not getting an education from your cell phone screen?
But even then, you're still getting more of a live experience by filming a show than by sitting in your living room and filming your laptop watching a live stream. So it's still a different energy. You're still around the people. Yeah, maybe they're lost in their phone and they're going to grow out of that. But still better than watching your computer.
Indeed, yes. Get out there, go support bands. These venues need help. Buy those beers, buy those shirts, buy those records. I have to say, it's probably been pretty weird for you. This has been probably one of the longest times you've been off the road, when you weren't like fully making a whole new record, which you guys have in the works also. But like, yeah, it's got to be strange that you haven't been on tour all this time. And just my heart breaks for everybody in the business in that regard, because, a lot of people lost their livelihoods.
It's a trip, definitely from the moment it happened. Like it hit us real fast because we were actually, the day everything shut down, we were supposed to be driving to LA the very next day for a photo shoot for the album. Like, so it was very tangible. It was like, okay, well, now we're not doing the photo shoot, which means now, well, when's that photo shoot going to happen? And then when that happens, then we put the package. I mean, it was a real clear, like, things are on pause. And, so immediately I think that like that puts anyone in a position to where like, I don't know, but for me, I always have 100 things I want to do, like, all the time. And that just gave me a huge opportunity to do all these other things. Maybe someone wants to learn how to play the acoustic guitar. Some people wants to learn how to do a one wheel. Someone wants to learn how to do video editing. You know what I mean? Someone wants to like do a push-up challenge. But like for me, like, I mean, I just use that opportunity to just like write and like build a studio and just like kind of like dive into music on a whole deeper level, so much so to where like now that that's what I've been doing for the past couple years, it's almost like having to remember like, oh yeah, wait, what do I'm actually like a drummer of Gemini Syndrome, and let me go out and do that thing that I do better than anything else. All these other things are fun and they're cute, but like that's the real thing. So let's go out and do that, and kind of, I don't know, it just, life just can get really full really fast. So now with touring coming up, it's busy.
Rad. And then before getting ready for tour time, did you keep up with your chops? Were you playing all the time or off and on? How motivated did you feel to keep up with stuff?
I didn't drum once, but I did. I mean, like I said, like I built a whole studio. I moved, built a studio upstairs, and I basically have been making music the whole time. So I mean, I've been working on actually the next Gemini Syndrome album, producing some bands, and one of the bands I produced is actually opening up on this tour and pushing Veronica. So we're, it's taking that same energy and like putting it into other things.
I like it. I like it. Staying hustling hard and staying productive. I dig it. Not everybody could. And I said that a lot in these interviews, which is like, if anybody felt like, oh, I couldn't work during this thing because the uncertainty and the anxiety was too much, all good, yo. Like do you, and family's important too. A lot of people saw their family and spent time with family like never before, which is healthy. You also have to have life experience and live. We all certainly had a life experience the last while, right? And your life experience, as Fight Club likes to say. So like, yeah, we definitely had a lot of things the last couple of years to get to the next thing. So you guys have 2 new singles out that are killer. And it's been like 5 years since Memento Mori. So obviously the 3rd chapter in this trilogy of albums is coming out. Let's talk about this new music, these new singles, and this new album we are going to hear soon, I hope.
Well, yeah, we're excited. I mean, we've been planning this for a while. Right now, Die With Me is out there. And, we've kind of been planning on this trilogy for a long time and doing everything in threes and just playing with the whole, the alchemy of the numerology, all these like esoteric sort of like Kabbalistic principles, and like breaking it all down to numbers and putting it out there in a very specific order to kind of create an energy, like not even just like as individual songs, but kind of like a whole album, like you would like to be digested in its entirety, like not to compare it to Pink Floyd The Wall, but that would be the goal, is to kind of create an experience like that.
Nice, like a concept, not just a concept record, but a concept trilogy of records, which is really cool and very unique. Nobody's really done anything like that that I can think of. And yeah, the new Die With Me is crushing. I love it. It's like very catchy, very Gemini Syndrome. It's like catchy, it's heavy. You could see the mosh pit in your mind, like, oh, when we get to mosh again, we feel good about moshing. People are going to mosh to this. It's going to be great.
Yeah, well, they're not going to be able to help themselves. That's the idea, is we're going to take everyone out of the shells. And if you don't want to mosh, well, the guy next to you wants to mosh, so you're kind of moshing.
That's it. Forced to mosh. That would be a good song too. Yeah, like I said, when we get back to our shows and our festivals, we're going to just fall into little cuddle puddles of happiness, because, I can't wait to go to the show. Like my first one in like 500 days is in 2 weeks, and I'm counting down the minutes practically.
Wow. Yeah, man. I mean, live music is so, I mean, especially as like a musician, like to be able to get to do the thing, like music hit me so hard when I was young that like, it's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? There was nothing, I mean, like one of the first concerts I ever saw was like Tool in the 10th grade, when they were like right when they released like Anima. And one of the last concerts I saw before the shutdown happened was Tool. You know what I mean? Like out here in Las Vegas. And it's just like those sort of experiences are so powerful. And and when you're in them, they feel good, but you really understand how important they are when they get taken away from you. So now that we had to kind of like really understand what it feels like to have those things out of our lives, now there's just a new appreciation when we get it back.
Right on. How good was that last Tool record? I'm still buzzing over it.
Oh, I mean, I love Tool, I love Dave Barisi, I love all the things they do, and it's just it's an evolution. It's like every time a Tool album comes out, I feel like I can't even absorb it all, and it takes years for me to fully digest it all. And so I'm still in the digestion process, so it's still fun. And it's entertaining, and I'm always finding new things in it, and I can never it's something that you can never just fully like absorb. It's just an experience.
That album was fantastic, and again, everybody, Danny is marvelous. I think just even by himself, that solo, watching him live, he is insane. So many good things. But yeah, man, super stoked. So you have this big tour coming now, kicking off in a few days. Outlier, Pushing Veronica. I think a couple of other bands are going to come on and off. What else is there anything else on the horizon you can talk about yet in terms of tours or festivals you guys are doing?
Well, everything that we have out, like on our social media, the festivals and the shows, that's kind of what we've announced. There's some other things in the works, and I would say before the end of this month we will have some more fun things to talk about.
Nice. New album news, I hope, or other things to announce. There's a lot of big, that's fine. There's a lot of big stuff coming up. I mean, we can speculate and guess. That's what we do here. We do news, but yeah, no, it's okay. Keep it under wraps till it's time.
Don't keep it under wraps. That was all. I was pretending.
No worries. It's all good. Yeah, well, you and I can rap, and I can share that with my audience, but then your label or your PR might get mad at me. So I'm trying to stay on. It's a balancing act.
It'll land on me. Be like, that was all Brian.
Like Tom Holland just leaking the story, the script of Spider-Man, whatever, 4. Oops, sorry, was that me? Yeah, somebody's gonna get in trouble. I'd rather it not be you or me. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's all good. It's really cool to see this evolution, if you use that word again, of Gemini syndrome over the years, like even this decade, like really come into your own and really kind of build this core audience into a big following. It's hard. And you guys came up in the kind of in the streaming era, let's call this is the streaming era. And now vinyl and physical merch is back again. And you probably grew up buying vinyl or CDs for sure. How do you feel about kind of like all these mixed media now having like a big play in, it's not, even though streaming is cool, doesn't really bring in the dollars.
It's a trip, man. Like, because you just have a car. My car, I don't even know if my car has a CD player in it. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't even looked, because it syncs to your phone, and then your phone has the music on it, and it's just kind of like, that's just the way it is. But for me, I know I'm not to like talk about Tool, but like when they put out their album, I was just like, I'm getting this album, you know what I mean? And it's an event, and you bring it home and you open it, and you're kind of exploring the artwork, and everything in it is like a piece of art. It reminds me of what it must have felt like in the 70s to get like, a Led Zeppelin album, you know what I mean? It's like, so I think that is still an experience for a diehard fan. Is for someone to like crack that open and have an experience and smell it and look at the art, open it up, read the lyrics, you know what I mean? To me, that's part of it. And if you're like, and maybe you're not that way with all the bands you listen to, but for me, like my top 5, my top 10, like it's something that I'm not willing to give up, and then and I haven't ran into a situation where the music I love doesn't have that as an option. So we make sure that that our album isn't just like in some cheesy jewel case with a single page. We pack it with like art and hidden messages, and it's like a treasure hunt, like and then the vinyl, whether you're getting the vinyl or the CD, that's we know that that's special. So we try to make it extra special for the fans.
Nice. Now, of course, I have to put you on the spot and ask who those top five bands are.
Oh, I mean, that would probably be pretty easy. So like on the top of my list is always like Tool, Deftones, Perfect Circle. You know, those are like my go-tos. And then like, you know, then beneath that, like, I mean, a lot of my favorite bands from the past, you know, like Mudvayne, you know, Korn. But lately, I mean, I've been really loving like Sleep Token lately. I love Grandson. There's a lot of really cool new music coming out right now that I feel is kind of putting it's like a rebirth of rock, you know. Kind of, there was like, it's like this era is kind of coming to an end, and I feel like a new era is ushering in. And you know, I much like when there was a point of time where in 1 year there was like She's My Cherry Pie and Uncle Tom's Cabin was like killing MTV, and then like a year from that it was like Nirvana and Alice in Chains, and like, and that was just it, and the world had changed, you know. And I kind of feel that like maybe we're not on that huge of a revolution, but I do feel that there's like a shift where people are their musical tastes and what they can appreciate is expanding. And so what I'm noticing is a lot of people are bringing in a lot of different elements. You know, it's kind of like, you know, eating a meal that has a little bit of like this style of food and that style of food and that style of food, and like rather than just like getting a cheeseburger from In-N-Out. And a cheeseburger from In-N-Out is dope, don't get me wrong,
Pretty
but
good.
sometimes you want to like spice it up a bit. So
Yeah, Animal Style is pretty good, but also like sometimes you just need like, you know, Fogo de Chao. But like everybody's got different taste. And I feel like Tool and A Perfect Circle and Deftones is like Fogo de Chao. And a lot of other bands are just, you know, In-N-Out or Burger King or something.
there you go.
But fun times, analogies with food. So yeah, man, as we start to wind this down, just obviously you said you've been working just constantly on getting ready for the tour and working on your music studio, your awesome lair that you have there in Vegas behind you. I'm like obsessed with this skeleton or skull in the background on your bookshelf.
Oh, that's
looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
What else you've been into? Just anything, just casually in the meantime, just anything fun you want to share? Books, movies? Said you've been producing a bunch of bands. What have you been working on?
Work is one thing, and luckily, you know, work that I've been doing doesn't feel like work. It's awesome. It's music. As long as it's music, I love it. You know, I try to read. I try to like dive into all of my, you know, cool esoteric books, and you know, do my studying and try. I mean, I do my best to have a balance of mind, body, and soul. I've never quite reached that the perfect alchemy of like everything's great right now, but it's always a, you know, I'm always making an effort to kind of reach that. And so yeah, studying and like enjoying music and like trying to exercise, you know, and even if it's not exercising, just like getting out and taking a walk, getting some vitamin D. The walls are very black in here, so if I don't leave and walk, then I can go weeks without sunshine, and that's not good for the soul either.
Indeed, you're gonna need your shades and maybe some kind of hydration system to handle the Vegas heat. But I like to wind these interviews up with a wildcard question from time to time. So I have one for you, which is before you were in music, what was the like hardest or toughest or least likable day job you ever had in life, like a Joe job?
Well, so I mean, the last job I had that I remember making that phone call of getting to quit my job for when we got signed, and that job, and I wouldn't say it was a horrible job, but it did remind me of the movie Office Space. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, I had to wake up at 5:45, be on the road by 6:15 so I can sit in an hour and 15-minute downtown LA traffic to drive to the garment district of downtown LA, where I worked at Forever 21 corporate headquarters, where I was a graphic designer for the books that they give the employees to teach you how to set up the shelves and organize the hangers and color code everything and like design the mannequins. Like that was my last job I had. And it was a great job. It was the best money I'd ever made. I was like one of like 4 dudes there with like, no, not even exaggerating, like over like 800 chicks working there. And then you had to take shifts into lunch, and you go down into this like cafeteria style, and it's like 20 times your lunch cafeteria from like high school or college, and just filled with humans, just like human faces, and just like, and I felt like such a fucking a 1 and a 0 in that place, you know what I mean? Like it was just like so like I'm not even how could I even be a person there, you know? That is what it felt like. And so, and it was a great gig, and everyone was cool to me. I'm not talking bad about the place. It was to a lot of people it was a dream job. But then that was the job I had when we finally like got the call, and it was like, all right. And so, you know, I mean, all the jobs, I've always kind of lucked out into finding really cool jobs. I don't know if it's lucked out, but I've always found myself in kind of artistic design oriented jobs ever since I was like 19 years old. I mean, my first job ever was I swept hair to Great Clips. And then if the guy was an asshole, they'd actually let me cut his hair as a 15-year-old. So don't talk shit to those Great Clips people. They'll give the clippers to the dude that should be cleaning toilets.
There it is. Well, we suffer for our art, and we work these tough jobs, and then or jobs that are not that satisfying, and then we get to do hopefully what we love in life. Brian Medina, man, Gemini Syndrome. Awesome catching up with you. Congratulations on the new music. Looking forward to the new album. Good luck on tour. Be safe. Continue to do what you do, and hopefully when we do this again soon in person, we'll raise them up and raise a glass and all that jazz.